Dear students, so let's start our discussion. Today, we are going to discuss a new topic called linear inequalities. Okay, just to give you, uh, overview. Uh, a mathematical statement involving any of the symbols what you have seen so far, like greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, that you have noticed, no? That these are called these are coming under the topic called linear inequalities. Inequalities actually per se to say in okay any expression. So, for example, you have seen that 2x plus 3 is greater than equal to 11. Okay, so that is not an equation, that is an inequation. Okay, and we will see, we will discuss in detail, and that is a very important topic. Its application is there in some of the physics and chemistry numericals, but in analytical mathematics, there is a lot of problems we need to solve, leveraging the concepts what we learn in linear inequalities. So, as I was saying, a mathematical statement involving any of the symbols like greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, what you see here is called inequality. For example, if we have two numbers, suppose 3 and 2, then actually it is what you can say 3 is greater than 2, right? Then where is the concept of greater than equal to is coming into the picture? Correct. Because when you do not know what are those two numbers, when you do not know the numbers on x and y, numbers are 3 and 2, suppose the numbers are generic x and y, then you have something like that, either x greater than y or x greater than equal to y. Means x greater than equal to y means what? X can be either equal to y or greater than y. Correct. But if you see from a very abstract level, if you take any two numbers, they cannot be greater than equal to. How? Because you know the numbers 3 and 2. Either 3 is greater than 2, 3 cannot be equal to 2. So how come that greater than equal to symbol is also there? I'm just justifying that. Okay, so this symbol is there when you do not know the numbers. When you do not know what are those two numbers exactly. Rather, you know those numbers as a variable like x and y. Then x greater than equal to y makes sense. Now, the inequalities involving the symbol greater than and or less than are called strict inequalities. Like this. What is strict inequalities? Like this, x greater than y. Got it, no? That is strict inequalities, greater than, exactly greater than. But inequalities involving the symbol greater than equal to and or less than equal to are called slack inequalities. One example is that x greater than equal to y. That is a slack inequality. Correct, no, dear students? Absolutely clear?
Yes.
Great. Now, what we are going to see in the next 2-3 days is that we will see how to solve the inequations. When we say something that fx is equal to 0, that becomes an equation, correct or not? We have seen so many equations earlier, quadratic equations, cubic equations, trigonometric equations, like, isn't it? So those equations have solutions. But if you see the polynomial equations, dear students, polynomial equations has, if you see a quadratic equation, you know it has two roots, that means two solutions. But here we will see that when an inequation comes like that, fx is greater than equal to 0, or fx is less than equal to 0, or fx is greater than 0, or fx is less than 0, these are called inequations. And we will see, dear students, that these inequations has a range of solutions, not specific solution, a set of solutions that we will notice. In fact, before going to discuss in details, let's look into a case. If I say, 2x plus 3 is equal to 4, for example, then it is a linear equation, so it has exactly one solution, dear students. What is the solution? Solution x is equal to 1 by 2. Correct or not? Now, so exactly one point in the real number line. In the number line, you can exactly point that solution. You can represent that solution in the number line, just a single point, isn't it, dear students? But if I give you an inequation something like this, that 2x plus 3 is greater than 4, so what we are going to get? We will see, by leveraging these properties, we are going to get this is greater than 1 by 2. Greater than 1 by 2 is not a specific number. Greater than 1 by 2 means is that any number just more than half and goes towards infinite. Isn't it, dear students? If you recall the representation of a point in a number line, what you discussed in your previous classes in 9th standard or 10th standard mathematics, suppose this is origin 0, this is 1, this is 2, and so on. It goes on in this manner, dear students, up to infinite. Correct? All of you are able to hear me very clearly? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Actually, I think that completely not able to hear us. Great. And you see here, in the left hand side, what is that? -1, -2, and in that way it goes up to minus infinite. Now, when you get that equation x is equal to half, if I use a different color, then we get this is the specific solution half. Okay, so this we got the solution, the blue dot, that is a point, and that point represent the number half in the number line. But when we say greater than half, that means what? Greater than half means that just little more than half, and it goes towards the infinite. Any values in that number line is going to satisfy this inequation. If you consider this inequation, this is getting satisfied based by this number line. What are the line I just drawn? So that is what, as I said a few minutes back, the solution to inequations are generally, the range of values. And today we will discuss some properties of linear inequalities, and then we will start seeing that how we can use those properties to perform solution to linear inequations. Because what is our end objective, dear students? Our end objective in this topic is that give me the solution set. 2x plus 3 greater than 4, give me the solution set. Now 2x plus 3 greater than 4, to solve this one, you no need to know linear inequalities that in details. But if I ask you 4x square plus 7x plus 9 is greater than equal to 23, give me a solution set of that inequations. Then you need to know the properties and the proper steps. Did you get my point, dear students? Okay. Now, so the first and foremost, as I was telling, is that to understand about the properties. Okay. So the very important properties that we are going to discuss now. I hope all of you are able to view the screen, dear students.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Following are some important properties of inequalities that I'm going to discuss now. Okay. Next statement I'm not explaining right now. Let me first bring some properties, then I'll explain. So the property 1 says that if A, B, C are real numbers, then A greater than B and B greater than C, that actually signify that A greater than C. A is greater than B and B is greater than C. That means A is greater than C. Correct, no?
Yes.
Obviously, that you can think from your intuition. Correct, no? That, yeah, obviously, if A is greater than B, A is a number which is greater than a number, and that number is greater than another number. Okay. Obviously, A is greater than C. Similarly, in the next one, what you see, dear students, A greater than B and C is greater than 0. That means A into C greater than B into C. But if A is greater than B and C is less than 0, then A into C is less than B into C. Very important point. It says that if you multiply both sides of the inequality with a positive quantity, the sign of inequality remains the same. That inequality remains the same. That means if it is greater than, it will be greater than. If it is less than, it will be less than. But if you multiply both sides of the inequality with a negative quantity, then the inequality will get changed. Means if it is originally greater than, it will be less than. Let's take an example. Okay, first let me tell you the theory first. Suppose one thing is that A is greater than B. Let me use a different color so that you can differentiate later. Suppose you get a number, it has been given that inequality A greater than B. So from here, what you can say about, A into C and B into C. A into C and B into C, that should be greater than if C is greater than 0. That means if I write in a proper manner, in a like a representation, A into C should be greater than B into C if C is greater than 0. But if C is less than 0, if C is less than 0, you know what will happen, dear students? A into C will be less than B into C. That means what? What I said a minute back. If you multiply, very important statement, dear students, very basic and very important. If you multiply both sides of an inequality by a positive quantity, inequality remains same. But if you multiply both sides of the inequality with a negative quantity, then the inequality will get change. Means if it was greater than, it will be less than. If it is less than, it will be greater than. Or in other way, I can say if it was greater than equal to, it will be less than equal to. Or it was less than equal to, it will be greater than equal to. Let's take a fundamental, very fundamental one. We know 2 is greater than 1. We all know. For that, you don't need to know any inequalities. Just a very fundamental idea. Then let's multiply both sides of this with 3. So 2 into 3, that implies 2 into 3. So now from here, what you can say? 2 into 3, that is 6, is greater than 1 into 3, obviously. 6 is greater than 3, no? So now let's multiply with minus 3. So 2 into minus 3, that is minus 6, is less than 1 into minus 3, that is minus 3. And that is evident from the number line. If you remember the number line, between two numbers, which one is more? If the number which is in the right with respect to the other is the correct, no?
Yes.
If you represent the number in the number line, that minus 6 and minus 3, what will get? You will get minus 3 is right of minus 6. Correct, no? You will get minus 3 right of minus 6. Hence, minus 3 is greater than minus 6. So, sign of inequality gets changed, no?
Yes.
Very basic, but very important. And how important it is, you will notice after a few minutes. Now, let me go to the next two important properties. All these properties are very important, and especially the corner cases. Corner cases means, you know what? I have seen a tendency that A greater than B, then A into C must be greater than B into C, without giving due diligence on the values of C. What kind of values it is, greater than or less than. Unless you give these due diligences, that these are the corner cases, so then we will not able to achieve the desired result. And one such example is here. You see, generally, there is a, let me first explain you this thing, then I'll tell you that where the mistakes generally happens, is that suppose it is given that A into B greater than equal to 0. A into B greater than equal to 0, or A by B greater than equal to 0. So when we say that A by B greater than equal to 0, obviously B is not equal to 0. If B is equal to 0, then the question doesn't make sense. That means that's not question, the statement doesn't make sense. So if A is greater than A into B greater than 0, or A by B greater than equal to 0, let me repeat, if A into B greater than equal to 0, or A by B greater than equal to 0, then you can conclude that A is greater than equal to 0 and B is greater than equal to 0, either both are positive or both are negative. Correct or not? When product of two quantities is greater than equal to 0, then either both the quantities are positive, na? Or both the quantities are negative. Correct?
Okay.
If both the quantities are negative, then their product become positive, na? Greater than 0. Or if both the quantities are positive, then their product is also greater than 0, na? Yes. Divanshu, Disha, Srijita, Sagnik, Mohor, all of you are able to give a full concentration?
Yes.
Absolutely, because this is important. Huh? Very good. Thanks for informing the. Now, on the other hand, A into B is less than equal to 0. Very important, dear students. You may think that, okay, why is Harry saying so many times? It is actually deserved to say so many times. If A into B is less than equal to 0, or A by B less than equal to 0, then one thing to sure, one is positive, one other is negative. When product of two numbers is negative, what you can conclude? One is positive, other is negative, na?
Yes.
It is not possible that both are positive, but their product is less than equal to 0.
Yes.
Both are negative, their product is less than equal to 0. Possibility, correct? It is not possible at all. So then what you can say, either A is greater than equal to 0 and B is less than equal to 0. Correct, no?
Yes.
Or A is less than equal to 0 and B is greater than equal to 0. So what is the lessons learned? Lessons learned is that very, very important statement I'm going to make in the next 1 minute. Whenever in inequalities, if you see that two numbers are multiplied, two variables, two expressions, two expressions like what? Fx into gx. Generic expression I'm saying. Fx into gx is greater than equal to 0 or less than equal to 0, whatever is mentioned. Let's take greater than equal to 0. Don't jump to a conclusion that fx is greater than equal to 0 and gx is greater than equal to 0. Don't jump into only that conclusion to very specifically to say. You can think of also, hey, both can be negative also, na? So, but you know, our tendency is that do not give all these due diligences. If you give these due diligences, no issue. Then the statements are not that important. You see, one analogy I can give. When you ax equal to bx, that means a equal to b. Not always. That is only subject to the condition x is not equal to 0. That is the corner case, na? Whether we have given that due diligence or not, that defines whether a equal to b or not. Similar thing here. Okay, so when you see two expressions and is given as a product form as greater than equal to 0, first you decide, oh, both the expression could be greater than equal to 0 or both the expressions should be less than equal to 0. Similarly, if you see the fx into gx is less than equal to 0, then what you should conclude? A, either fx is greater than equal to 0 and gx is less than equal to 0, or fx is less than equal to 0 and gx is greater than equal to 0. Correct, not dear students?
Yes.
So let me write it down. Better let me write it down, because if you see here a into b, better let me write in a very clear manner in the form of an expression. So fx and gx, what you see? Fx into gx are two expressions. Generic expressions, whatever it is, it could be algebraic, trigonometric, exponential, whatever. But if fx into gx is greater than equal to 0, okay, or fx by gx is greater than equal to 0, then what you can conclude? Then you can conclude either both are greater than equal to 0. Either fx is greater than equal to 0, and that is why the statement and is there, and gx is greater than equal to 0. This is, or fx is less than equal to 0 and gx is less than equal to 0. You know, these and or are very, very important statement, important words in context of mathematics. After the class today, I will share you some good videos I have prepared where we discussed about the significance of and or in terms of set theoric notation. I'll share this thing. Clear, not dear students? Always remember this thing. Now, so this I actually mark it. So I spend time here because you should not always jump to a conclusion both are greater than equal to 0. It may possible that both are less than equal to 0 also. You should not miss out this thing. But our tendency is that generally, because my purpose is also not only exact teaching, where from my previous experience, where the mistakes happen, where generally students make mistakes, to actually inform you that also. In a similar manner, if you get fx into gx is less than equal to 0, or fx by gx is less than equal to 0, then what we can conclude? This implies either, first and foremost thing is that English statement before writing anything, either fx is greater than equal to 0 and gx is less than equal to 0, or the vice versa, the converse of this thing. No? Either, what we can say? Either we can say fx is greater than equal to 0 and gx is less than equal to 0, or fx is less than equal to 0 and gx is greater than equal to 0. Let me do one thing. Let me use the second bracket here, because proper usage of bracket is important. Got it now, dear students? Okay. Every time, notice this thing. That's why I use two different colors and spend some time specifically for these two properties. Okay. Now let's come to the next properties, next few properties. Okay. And that property related to the modulus. So the next two properties, what you see, the sixth one, the property that, the sixth point is that mod of a plus b is less than equal to mod of a plus mod of b. And this is known as a triangle inequality that you can prove also. Okay. I leave it to you to prove it. Okay. And you can think about a triangle, and in vector also, we have done it. Okay. Now next point. So this point, there is nothing special, so that you can establish this thing. One thing is that seventh property is also very straightforward. If a is greater than equal to b, then a plus c is greater than equal to b plus c. That means if you add fixed quantity of the both sides of the inequality remains same. Or if you subtract a fixed quantity from both sides of the inequalities, then the inequality remains same. Correct, no? Clear? Then the next point I'm coming, the next property is that a is greater than equal to b. Then what we can conclude about a into c and b into c? Okay, dear students, please look into it. The eighth property, as you see, that a is greater than equal to b, then if a is greater than equal to b, then we can conclude that a into c should be greater than equal to b into c, and a by c should be greater than equal to b by c when c is greater than 0. We have discussed the same thing in a different form earlier, correct, dear students? And a into c is less than equal to b into c, and a by c less than equal to b by c when c is less than 0. Correct, no? So that means what? The same thing, that if you multiply c greater than 0 means what? A positive quantity. So when you multiply with a positive quantity, then the sign of inequality remains same. Or if you divide by a positive quantity, sign of inequality remains same. When you multiply with a negative quantity or divide with a negative quantity, then the sign of inequality gets actually changed. If it is greater than equal to originally, then it becomes less than equal to. As you see here, it was greater than equal to, but it becomes less than equal to here. No?
Yes.
It gets changed as c is less than 0, because c is here less than 0, negative quantity. Now, let us discuss, a question, something like that. So I give you, all of us solve this problem. After that, I'll come back to this theory. Okay. Suppose, let me use a different color. Suppose there is an inequation, something like this, x square minus 5x plus 6 is greater than equal to 0. Okay, suppose, let me first is it is less than equal to 0. We'll solve both. One will solve like this, less than equal to 0, and another one will also solve greater than equal to 0. Let me do it, and you just observe it and stop me at any point if you get, difficulty in understanding. So x square minus 5x plus 6, if you do middle term factorization, what we are going to get? X square minus 3x minus 2x plus 6 less than equal to 0. That implies x into x minus 3 minus 2 into x minus 3 is less than equal to 0. This implies x minus 3 into x minus 2 is less than equal to 0. Now, dear students, you need to guide me. If product of two quantities is less than equal to 0, what you can conclude?
One of them is negative.
And
But
the other one is positive, correct? No? So that implies either, if anyone is having any difficulty, please let me know. Either x minus 3, sorry, either x minus 3 is greater than equal to 0 and x minus 2 is less than equal to 0. Correct, no?
yeah.
Or x minus 3 is less than equal to 0 and x minus 2 is greater than equal to 0. Any difficulty here, dear students? We just follow this property here.
Yes.
Sorry. Fx into gx is less than equal to 0. If you notice, dear students, this property we have used now here.
Yes.
That either one is greater than equal to 0, other is less than equal to 0. And after that, you see, very interesting thing we will actually achieve. That implies what? Either x minus 3 greater than equal to 0. That means x is greater than equal to 3. And x is less than equal to 2. X minus 2 less than equal to 0 means what? X is less than equal to 2, na?
Yes.
Or x is less than equal to 3 and x is greater than equal to 2. Now, let's look into it. What this statement makes actually informing that x is greater than equal to 3 and x is less than equal to 2. That means we have some number which is greater than equal to 3 and less than equal to 2 at the same time. Is it possible?
No.
Not possible. Can you find me a number which is greater than equal to 3 and less than equal to 2 at the same time? Not possible. So that's why this portion of solution is not coming into the help us. Then what is there? Let's see whether it makes sense or not. X is less than equal to 3 and x is greater than equal to 2. That means what? X is such a number which is more than equal to 2 or less than equal to 3. That is possible. There are plenty. 2.5, 2.7, 2.1, 2.99. Correct or not?
Yes.
So that means, so from here, what solution we are getting? That 2 is less than equal to x less than equal to 3. Correct or not? Exactly. From here I am writing this. So a number which is in between 2 and 3. If you recall your previous 9th and 10th standard mathematics knowledge, that between two real numbers there are infinite real numbers. Recall?
Yes.
So 3 are real numbers, no? So our
Yeah.
solution is any real number between 2 and 3, including 2 and 3. So there are infinite number of solutions when we consider these inequations. Correct or not, dear students? But the moment we make it x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0, we get exactly two solutions. Correct or not?
Yeah.
The moment we make it less than equal to 0, it is a range of solutions, infinite number of solutions. In fact, any real number between 2 and 3, including 2 and 3, is a solution to these inequations x square minus 5x plus c less than equal to 0.
Yes.
Dear students, I want to get a yes from each one of you. Sagnik, got it? Divansu,
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it.
Srijita, Disha, Mohor, all of you got it very clearly?
Yes, sir.
Because these concepts you need to apply.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, thank you. You need to apply this concept. So, x minus, from where you make that conclusion, x minus 3 into x minus 2 less than equal to 0. Now, I want to do the other one also. That x square minus 5x plus 6 greater than equal to 0. Let's see what is going to happen. Correct now? Let me use the different color and let me do it. Let me use a completely different color so that you can make a difference. Okay, let me use this color. So x square, so what we are going to discuss now, x square minus 5x plus 6 is greater than equal to 0. This implies, so I'm not writing each and every step, I can directly write this thing, no? X minus 3 into x minus 2 greater than equal to 0, dear students.
Yes.
Because before that, what are the middle term factorization? For that, 7th and 8th standard mathematics is sufficient.
Yes.
Now, let us apply the concept of the inequality property we have learned today. Product of two expressions greater than equal to 0. What does it mean? Who can answer? If product of two quantities is greater than equal to 0, what does it mean?
Both can be negative and both can be positive.
Very good. That means either, very good, Mohor, thank you. Either x minus 3 is less than equal to 0 and x minus 2 is less than equal to 0. Or x minus 3 greater than equal to 0 and x minus 2 greater than equal to 0. Correct? No? Exactly what you said, I write this thing, Mohor, and all of you agree to it. That if you look into this one, if fx is greater than equal to fx into gx is greater than equal to 0, we write that either fx is greater than equal to 0 and gx is greater than equal to 0, or fx is less than equal to 0 and gx is less than equal to 0. Correct, no, dear students?
Yes.
Exactly. So then, what we can conclude from here, let me show you. This implies, after that it is quite simple. Earlier steps also it was simple, it's just proper application of the properties. When you see that x minus 3 is less than equal to 0, obviously x is less than equal to 3. And when you say x minus 2 is less than equal to 0, that means x is less than equal to 2, na? Or x is greater than equal to 3 and x is greater than equal to 2. All of you agree to me, dear students? Correct, no?
Yes.
Great. Now, let's actually, deep dive into the statement, little deep dive. We are seeing that x is less than equal to 3 and x is less than equal to 2. What is the meaning of this statement? That means we have a number x which is less than equal to 3 and less than equal to 2. That means obviously it is less than equal to 2. I'm telling Sagnik, I have a number which is less than equal to 2 and also less than equal to 3 at the same time. Then you can say, sir, you say no, it is less than equal to 2. If a number is less than equal to 2, obviously it is less than equal to 3, correct or not?
Yes.
So then, better to write either x is less than equal to 2, correct or not? Or now let's look into this statement. X is greater than equal to 3 and x is greater than equal to 2. That means what? we have a number x which is more than greater than equal to 3 and greater than equal to 2. Then you can say, nah, sorry, better you say it is greater than equal to 3. Because any number which is greater than equal to 3 must be greater than equal to 2.
Yeah, yes.
Can you find a number which is greater than equal to 3 but less than equal to 2? No, right? Correct, not yet, students? So what you can say, or x is greater than equal to 3. So that is a very interesting thing. What we get, that either x is greater than equal to 2 or either x is less than equal to 2 or x is greater than equal to 3. That means that when you have the product of two numbers, x minus 3 into x minus 2, okay, now if you look into it very minutely, look into this, x minus 3 into x minus 2 is greater than equal to 0. That means either x is greater than equal to the maximum between 2 and 3. Correct or not?
Yes.
3. Or x is less than equal to minimum between 2 and 3. That is 2. Correct or not? Clear or not clear, students? So from here, what we can write also? So this implies we can write either x is less than equal to minimum between 2 and 3. Correct or not? Or x is greater than equal to maximum between 2 and 3. Are you getting my point? You may say, sir, why you are writing this thing, minimum between 2 and 3? We know it is 2. Minimum between 2 and 3 is 2. Why you need to write this thing? And you know the maximum between 2 and 3 is 3. Then why you are writing? There is a reason. You will notice it another 2 minutes from now. Look into this statement also, the previous example. When you did the 2 less than equal to x less than equal to 3, what you can say? Similarly, from here also you can conclude that minimum between 2 and 3, correct na, is less than equal to x less than equal to maximum between 2 and 3. So that gives us a big lessons. What is the lessons, dear students? It says that when you have x minus 3 into x minus 2, 3 and 2 are exact representation. Later I will, in another 5 minutes, I'll give you the exact theory on behind that formula, inequalities, what the way you want to define. X minus 3 into x minus 2 less than equal to 0. That means you can assume that x is between two numbers. One number is between minimum of 2 and 3, that is 2, and maximum of another is less than equal to maximum of 2 and 3, that is 3. So why I wrote this thing, minimum, maximum, despite knowing these numbers, what is minimum and maximum between 2 and 3? That will get clear when you will see these two particular, properties, points actually. Let me bring this to you in another few seconds, and then you will appreciate that why I wrote all these things. You see, dear students, what I wrote? X minus alpha into x minus beta. X minus alpha into x minus beta greater than equal to 0. That signifies x is less than equal to minimum of alpha and beta, or is x is greater than equal to maximum of alpha and beta, exactly like this thing. And the question was x minus alpha into x minus beta greater than equal to 0, like this. X minus 3 into x minus 2 greater than equal to 0. Correct, dear students? And x minus alpha into x minus beta less than equal to 0. That means that x is in between the minimum of alpha and beta and maximum of alpha and beta, which was the case, previous case. Correct, dear students? In fact, I can make a link also. This thing. Correct? This is the case. Clear or not clear?
Yes.
So, and it is very important for quadratic one, because x minus alpha into x minus beta, it is a quadratic expression. So whenever you get a quadratic expression greater than equal to 0, less than equal to solution has been given, your first and foremost task is that make that quadratic expression as a product of two linear expression using the middle term factorization. After that, whatever the roots you are getting now, that alpha and beta in this case. So if it is greater than equal to 0, make sure that x is either greater than equal to the maximum between these two numbers, the roots, or x is less than equal to minimum between these two numbers. Or if you see that x minus alpha into x minus beta is less than equal to 0, then you can conclude that x is in between these two numbers only, the minimum of alpha and beta, maximum of alpha and beta. We do not know the number, that is why alpha and beta are symbolic representation, correct or not? But when you know the numbers 2 and 3, then no need to say that which is minimum and which is maximum. Correct? No? The last point for today, before we conclude our class, is that, next two properties, the modulus properties. In our previous discussion, I discussed about these properties, but today I am going to exactly write it down, and you also appreciate that, okay, that, yeah, we discussed this thing earlier, but now we are discussing in details. That mod of A is less than B. When you see that mod of A is less than B, then you can conclude that A is in between minus B and B. Got it, no? Dear students. And whenever you see that mod of A is greater than B, the next one, then you can conclude either A is greater than B or A is less than minus B. Think about mod of any number and then you find it out, you'll understand. Okay? Take A is equal to minus 5 and B is equal to 3. Then it will fall into the second category. Na? Mod of minus 5 is greater than 3. Na?
Yes.
Mod of minus 5 is greater than 3. But if you look into it, then either what you can conclude that A is what? Minus 5. Either A is less than minus 3, minus 5 less than minus 3. That is true, na? Correct or not?
Yes.
And you see that mod of 5 is also greater than 3. When mod of minus 5 is greater than 3, then this property is coming into the picture. When you see the mod of 5 is greater than 3, then this property coming into the picture. Correct or not? Clear?
Yes.
Similarly, mod of A less than B, implying that A is in between minus B to B. Correct, no? So with this, I would like to conclude the class for today. But just before concluding, I just would like to show you the DPPs for linear inequalities as well. So yes.
Sir, I have one doubt. Like in the previous one, like either x less than minimum of, like do we leave it in this form or take like minimum of 2 and 3, 2 and right?
Okay. Good. The point is that, as I said, alpha and beta are symbolic number representations here. For example, 2 and 3. Definitely you should, if you get a proper value of alpha and beta like 2 and 3 in our examples, definitely you should write like this. Let me show you. You are talking about this thing now. Definitely you will write this, not this.
Okay.
Not the next. Obviously not.
Yes. Yes.
Why I wrote this thing? Just to show you so that you can make a one-to-one correspondence with the property what I'm going to write.
Okay. Yes.
Got it? One-to-one property what I'm going to write, what I wrote actually, so that you can make a correspondence of this. Definitely you should not write x is less than equal to minimum of 2 and 3. Definitely you should write x is less than equal to 2. Got it? Clear, na? That was your question or anything else?
No, sir, that only I understand.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, dear students, is that I'm going to share a different screen, and I would like to show you just what are the DPPs. You all are aware, but just want to show you the exact DPP, paper number, paper name actually. So I'm going to share one another screen with you. Please confirm that all of you are able to view the website konarkclasses.com.
Yes.
Okay. Click on login, and then you'll get enter your login and password. Go there. Click into the right online examinations. So here you can just you can search with inequalities. Yeah, it started coming inequalities, right? Solve the first two DPPs. Linear inequalities 1 and 2. Correct, no? Before we start our class tomorrow.
Yes.
So, so if we click here, then you will give the view paper details. You know all these things. Then start answering, start uploading. As you see that all the papers has been evaluated for almost all of you. Rest paper whose backlog is there, backlog as long as the evaluation is concerned, that will be done by today. With this, I would like to conclude the class for today. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we will have our class at 9 o'clock. Okay. Okay. Thank you.